There's a beautiful, beautiful poem of... Can I read it to you?
Yes, please.
I'll try to find it. There's a beautiful poem of Philip Larkin's, which slightly says what I'm trying not to duck your question by referring to other people, but
maybe that's the best way to answer the question.
Could be.
Is to read a poem.
So there's a poem by Philip Larkin called "High Windows," which is remarkable because he came to sexual. He was straight, but he had a rather unhappy sex life. But he came to sexual fruition in the 40s and 50s, and with all the hell that involved. And he took what I regard as being a really remarkable and important view on the sexual revolution in the 60s, which is that most people of his generation, most older people, resented the young. They resented the freedom they had, and actually they pretended the freedom was terrible and it was always getting lightly. And Philip Larkin, rather surprisingly, he was a very conservative person, took a different view, and he says it in his poem. And the opening of the poem is, he says, "When I see a couple of kids and guess he's fucking her and she's taking pills or wearing a diaphragm, I know this is paradise. Everyone old has dreamed of all their lives. Bonds and gestures pushed to one side like an outdated combine harvester, and everyone young going down the long slide to happiness endlessly. I wonder if anyone looked at me 40 years back and thought, that'll be the life, no God anymore, or sweating in the dark about hell and that, or having to hide what you think of the priest. He and his lot will all go down the long slide like free bloody birds. And immediately, rather than words, comes the thought of high windows, the sun-comprehending glass, and beyond it the deep blue air that shows nothing and is nowhere and is endless."
The divine. He found it.
He found it in seeing a couple of young kids and knowing that one of them was wearing a diaphragm. Do you see what I mean? It's, first of all, it's very counterintuitive, but secondly, this is the point that sex had been so tied up with misery. I mean, people don't remember this now when they talk about the past. I mean, there's one of my favorite books, Stefan Zweig's The World of Yesterday, including descriptions of what it was like trying to have sex in pre-First World War Vienna. You know, all the men ended up going to female prostitutes. And, so many of them got syphilis. And this was their first experience of sex. It was so goddamn awful, and they were stuck with it all their lives. And so there's lots of stuff that's gone better in our last century, and that's one of them. But you ask about love. Yes, I do think that love is basically the thing that gives us the best glimpse of the divine.